From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, the reason you see me in my Trojan Cardinal this week is in honor of College Colors Day, a chance for college football fans across the state to show pride in their schools in preparation for the start of the college football season. William McCarthy gives us the details on Troy's celebration.
It's a great time of the year as we think about football, but more important than football, we think about the great institutions they represent.
Football season is definitely in the air. Governor Robert Bentley signed the proclamation last Friday stating that College Colors Day will be this Friday.
It's a statewide event that the Higher Education Partnership is putting on, and the way for us to do it is an encouragement for all universities to wear their college colors tomorrow, Friday, and show their Trojan pride.
As you can see, I started College Colors Day off a little early, but how can students get involved?
The way the students can be involved with this year's College Colors Day is for them to wear the Trojan colors, and with that the SGA will be giving out a free t-shirt. It's a contest that we'll be doing with all students as long as they hashtag TroyCCD. We'll go through all the pictures and decide which picture we like the best and go from there.
And what will the winner receive?
The grand prize that we have for the best picture is going to be just kind of a compilation of different Troy gear that we can't really tell people right now.
Barton says there will be no second or third place winners. It will just be one grand prize.
We'll just have one winner that'll kind of get just pretty much a basket full of prizes.
William McCarthy, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The designs of famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright are known all over the world. But now one of the architect's last known designs will be turned into a building on Troy's campus. Casey Freeman explains.
On Monday, Troy University was presented with the floor plans for a house designed by famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Chancellor Hawkins explains that once constructed, the designs will help improve the campus.
And his work is really revered around the world. And for us to have the original plans that may ultimately be used to construct a house, maybe visitors' quarters on campus, visiting ambassadors, scholars and residents, dignitaries of all sorts. And so this, I think, eventually will be used. These plans will to construct an appropriate house that reflect the work of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Although the school doesn't know specifically where the house will be placed, there are some details that are already known.
The house that Frank Lloyd Wright has designed is a small house, actually. I think it's about 2,000 square feet. And it was designed, it's more artistic than it is functional.
Hawkins says this addition will only add to the beauty of the campus.
Well, I think as we move down this path of beautification, and of course that's been a priority of ours, we want to have, and I believe we have, Alabama's most beautiful campus. It'll be just another little gem in this crown of jewels, and so I think it'll be exciting, and it'll be a great addition to Troy University.
Casey Freeman, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University officially became an all-Steinway school earlier this year, meaning the School of Music only plays pianos manufactured by renowned piano maker Steinway & Sons. Well, the school is taking the instruments on the road as a way to show off what the school has accomplished. Ryan Renfro gives us a look at the first stop on the statewide tour.
Last spring, Troy University became an all-Steinway school and decided to start a Steinway concert series to showcase musical excellence. The musical department recently held its first concert of the Steinway Artist Series.
This past February, we officially become one of the 172 all-Steinway schools in the world. So this is one significant milestone for the university because we want to provide our music students the best instrument in the world.
Becoming an all-Steinway school allows us to reach a next level of instrument, of quality, of commitment to excellence. It attracts a higher caliber of student because everybody who's a music major and non-music majors alike often use the pianos. The bands use the pianos, all the jazz ensembles use the pianos, all the choirs use the pianos. So it is an elevating event for the entire School of Music and University.
Now that Troy is purely an all-Steinway school, the university has high hopes of sharing the excellence of these pianos with other locations across the state.
We're having a whole series of concerts, so we'll be here in Troy, but we'll also be in Montgomery, in Birmingham, and in Dothan. And again, this is one of the ways that we share the incredible talent that we have with our students, our faculty, and to make them aware of the great Steinways that we have here and the kind of excellence that is embodied in this School of Music.
One music major here at Troy shares how the addition of the Steinway pianos has affected his collegiate experience.
It's really good, to come here and have a concert where you can really see what we're doing in the music program here. Like you said, we have all Steinway pianos here at the school, and as a music major, that's resourceful for us because anytime we need to play piano, practice music, now we have these amazing instruments for us.
Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
On Wednesdays throughout the semester, Troy University students have the chance to spend their lunchtime enjoying free pizza and discussing topics and issues going on around the world. The format may be familiar to most students, but as Ryan Renfro shows us, there have been some subtle changes to the weekly discussion.
The Office of Civic Engagement here at Troy University recently held its first Talk of Troy meeting of the year, in which students shared opinions, worldviews, and issues of today.
Talk of Troy is just a lunch series that we do once every other week on Wednesday at noon in Trojan Center 119, and we just discuss a article that talks about a pertinent issue or current event that affects college students each time we meet. And so it's open for any students to come. There's not really an organization, so to speak. Most of the conversations are going to be led by college students, which I think presents an interesting dynamic just to have a conversation with your peers about something that affects students here at Troy.
With the name change from Times Talk to Talk of Troy, discussions now focus in on topics more relevant to students here on campus.
The name changed because the New York Times paper isn't offered on campus anymore, so we decided to open that door up where if speakers wanted to pick an article from a different paper or still keep the New York Times, they weren't necessarily required to pick from just one paper.
Talk of Troy kind of opens up the umbrella of a little bit to really focus on things that are going on here on campus rather than on a national or international level. It's just bringing home kind of things that are important for college students to understand, to discuss, to think about, and then hopefully act on going forward.
Seeland says Talk of Troy is a good way for new students to get involved on campus.
It helps them get connected so they understand what opportunities exist on campus, what are issues that are affecting college students, and how do other people view those issues, and hopefully build some sense of community or belonging and connection with other students.
It's given me a better view of what different opinions are on campus and given me a chance to take those ideas in, those thoughts in, and see how they fit with my own view of contemporary issues.
Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
It's still early in the school year for Troy University, and many students, especially freshmen, are still getting used to their surroundings. The Residence Hall Association hosted a campus safety event this week to help make students feel more comfortable while at school. Xavier Harris has the details.
The Resident Housing Association, also known as RHA, hosted their annual campus safety informational for incoming freshmen and transfer students.
This is our yearly safety meeting. We do them every fall semester, and we just want to show new residents different tips and how important their safety is here, so they get to hear from the different branches of emergency services that Troy has to offer. This is the #1 information they need to know. The only way they're going to have fun here is if they're safe, and this is just really valuable information for them.
One Troy Fire Department captain says that students are more likely to have fire emergencies on college campuses than they would at home.
Well, college campuses are unique, mainly because you have a, it's called what we call dwellings. You have multiple people in these dwellings, so you have a large amount of people on multiple floors. You have a large population of young people who's the first time out of their household. So that does increase the, our are a fear factor because maybe they're not quite as prepared because it's their first time kind of away from home, so to speak.
And with the many crimes around America today on college universities, many Troy students are afraid to walk the campus at night. But officials tell students there's no need to worry because they have these emergency poles placed around campus that students can press in case of emergency.
Sometimes students won't have a cell phone on them and they need to contact police. If they hit the button on the pole, a blue light with a siren goes off, the police come immediately.
One RHA member reminds students to pay attention to their surroundings and know when someone on campus looks suspicious.
The main thing for freshmen is I think they come in to a university and they forget that it's a public university, which means any students can come in at any angle of the university, and so it's really important for students to know like where the emergency towers are and the police departments right on campus.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll see some of the ways Troy Student Government Association is getting students involved on campus. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Troy University Student Government Association has already started their meetings for the new school year, but there were still some vacant Senate seats that needed to be filled. Well, those positions were filled during an election this week. Sarah Singletary explains.
Vacancy elections were held on Wednesday for empty seats in the Student Government Association. Open positions included residence hall, academic, and at-large seats.
Well, today is our elections. It's actually our vacancy elections. We mainly hold these because the students, like the incoming freshmen, come in and they move into their dorms, and so we always have a lot of dorm seats open. Sometimes we have at-large seats, where in this case we have 2 at-large seats to vote on today. And so it's a very important day. All of the students are voting for who they want to represent them to be the liaison for SGA.
If you miss Wednesday's election, there will be more voting opportunities later in the semester. Members of the Student Government Association encourage all students to exercise their right to vote.
It really gives students a chance to get more involved with the community and have a say in what's going on in Troy University. And by selecting a leader, that it kind of instills in trust, like, oh, I pick you, I feel like I can trust you to make the right decision on my behalf. And I think by them doing that, it's their first stepping stone in becoming a true Trojan.
I believe these students should come out and vote simply because it's just a way to display their involvement and actually have a say-so in what goes on campus and who leads on campus. I think it's very important that students utilize the just free privilege that they have here on campus. It's a good way to make sure their voice is being heard, and that even if they're not necessarily in an organization or probably strongly involved on campus, their voice still matters.
And a major reason that the SGA holds vacancy elections is so that new students, especially incoming freshmen, have the opportunity to participate in student government. The freshman class represents the SGA through Freshman Forum. Deborah Bogart was at their first meeting.
Freshman Forum kicked off the 2015 school year with their first meeting Tuesday night. The 54 new members were selected through an application and interview process and will serve as this year's freshman branch of the Student Government Association.
I'm most excited just to see how they represent the freshman class and really are the ambassadors of the freshman class and plan new events and get all the other freshmen involved, other freshmen who may not know how to get involved in different organizations. I hope that these students are able to really reach out to them and get them involved.
At Tuesday's meeting, the new members learned about other organizations and opportunities to get involved with on campus and throughout the community.
Well, I hope that the members of Freshman Forum recognize how important community service is and also giving back to a university that has given us so much and just understanding how special it is and what a blessing it is here to be a student at Troy University.
With school spirit, campus involvement, and community service a focus for Freshman Forum, one member says he has another priority.
Freshman Forum on campus just really hopes to just bring every student on campus closer together. Of course, uniting SGA and Freshman Forum more so it can be more effective together as an organization and really just having a good year.
Deborah Bogart, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
There's a new show going on at the Johnson Center for the Arts. Artists from all over Alabama have brought their own creative ideas to the center. William McCarthy gives us a look at what's going on inside the center.
The Johnson Center for the Arts is hosting the Alabama Complimentary Biennial. It is a combination of artwork from sculptures to photography to even costumes. It is a celebration of artwork from all around Alabama.
Biennial, which is really celebrating contemporary art in Alabama. That's the name of the show. The first show happened in 2009, and it was brought here. It was a collaboration between our then director, Richard Metzger, and Georgine Clark, who was the Visual Arts Project Manager of the Alabama State Council of the Arts. So we were a new facility, and Georgine and Richard thought this would be a fabulous thing to bring fellowship artists down here.
The show brings many different and unique pieces to the center. Many artists came and constructed their own artwork to be shown on display.
So they were here for hours, several of them, and it was so much fun watching these artists work. These are just outstanding people. I'm an artist fan, so I love to watch artists.
White loves the artwork that is here. She tells us some unique pieces and how they were constructed into the building to fit.
Walter Black and Darius got it in here and set it up and then had to really poke it in between the rafters to make it fit in here. But this is a fun piece. And then you've got John Phillips with a huge mailbox that does the same thing. It goes up into the rafters. We've got ceramics from Mobile, ceramics from Wellington, Alabama. We've got a take on the Tuscaloosa tornado from Karen Graffio. We've got the King and Queen of Mardi Gras upstairs. We have Michael Sims' theater set with the rabbit in the dress. You name it, we've got it, and it's so much fun.
William McCarthy, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy residents and Troy University students gathered on the square in downtown Troy last Saturday to celebrate community. This was part of a series of community events called Fifth Saturday. Haley Greathouse has more.
This school year, the city of Troy is celebrating Fifth Saturday. With games, music, and events planned on the square, the city hopes to bring residents and college students together to enjoy the community they are living in and promote local business.
Fifth Saturday is something that we started in May. That was our first event. This is our second Fifth Saturday event. Each event looks a little different. Our first event we focused on food and music. This event we're focusing on music. So we've got live open mic going on right now with some people from the community, and then we've got the band Blackberry Breeze playing.
The events are promoted throughout town, but is more than the flyers and banners bringing people to the square.
I want to come support my friend that's performing back there.
I read about it in the paper.
The city of Troy is excited about the turnout of the events so far.
Our first event, we couldn't believe the number of people who turned out. This event, due to the weather, because it's been a little iffy all day, our crowd's been a little smaller, but it's still been a really great turnout and people have enjoyed it.
Despite rain in the area, Troy residents still came out to enjoy open mic night, with the main event being moved inside.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So it's a good time to be out and about with my family and seeing them and stuff. So.
It's near home and you're out in the open and visiting with other people. It's very nice.
Haley Greathouse, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear some of the offerings from our friends at Troy Public Radio. So don't touch that dial.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Each week we take some time to hear some of the work done by our broadcast partners at Troy Public Radio. As we do each week, we'll get another sample of Talk of Troy, the student-produced newscast of Troy Public Radio. Now, let's take a listen.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University. I'm Kenya Taylor. Last week, Troy University announced a program to offer classes to the City of Montgomery Police Department, and Piers Godwin has the story.
Troy University will now offer a developing curriculum for the City of Montgomery's Public Safety Department, training both current and future public safety officers, according to the DPS Director, Chris Murphy.
All of us believe that professionalism comes when you have education, when you have training opportunities and academic opportunities.
The new curriculum will include classes on fire science, fire leadership, and emergency communications. And Mayor Todd Strange says the partnership is a big step forward.
So we're just excited to be a part of this, to have the opportunity to say thank you in a very public way.
Murphy made the announcement following the earlier news of Troy University building a Starbucks in downtown Montgomery. For the Talk of Troy, I'm Piers Godwin.
Students at Charles Henderson Middle School in Troy returned back to school 2 weeks ago and to a new class, which teaches Chinese culture and language. Principal Aaron Brown says he's excited about the new class, which is a joint venture between the school and Troy University's Confucius Institute.
I would hope that our students would be thankful that they have an opportunity to be exposed to more than what they see in their day in and day out here in Troy, Alabama.
Charles Jones, who works in the Confucius Institute, hopes that Troy will be able to set up classrooms across the state of Alabama.
What we are looking at here is an opportunity to advance our state. This is what Confucius is doing for us.
For more information, visit troy.edu/Confucius. I'm Kenya Taylor, and you've been listening to The Talk of Troy, a production of Troy Public Radio.
Throughout the week, Troy Public Radio can be heard on 89.9 in Troy and Montgomery, 88.7 in Dothan, and 91.7 in Phoenix City. And it's time for our last break. When we return, we'll learn about how Troy Regional Medical Center is trying to raise suicide awareness. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Look at me. Hey. Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Troy Regional Medical Center is encouraging citizens to put on their walking shoes as a way to raise awareness about suicide. How they can do that is the topic of this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be learning about a special event designed to bring about suicide prevention and awareness. My guests today, Amy Miner and Hunter Beck, are here to talk about Out of the Darkness, a Relay for Life type event, you would say, to help bring about suicide awareness and prevention. Tell me a little bit specifically about the event and how it came about.
The event is a sanctioned walk with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We at Troy Regional Medical Center decided this year that we wanted to establish a community pillar and do something for our community, raise awareness, increase prevention of some health issue. Suicide is something that is near and dear to our heart. It's a legitimate problem in our community, and we felt that that was something that was not currently being addressed and that we could potentially make a difference.
And so why this particular venue and type event? Obviously, there's been a lot of knowledge about suicide and suicide prevention out there, but why do something like this that involves the community in such a way?
Well, we started researching what we could potentially do to improve our community's awareness and just sort of stumbled across the Out of the Darkness walk. It's actually, like I said, a sanctioned walk, and they actually currently there's over 360 in the United States going on. I had never heard of it. But the more I dug in and talked to our local chapter rep, it's a very good walk. It's has a lot of good elements that do educate the community, provide grief counseling support to survivors. There is a fundraising component and very good system of networking that we can get the message to the community.
We'll talk a little bit more of the specifics of the event, but I want to bring Hunter into this. You're on the PR committee for this and involved, but you're involved because you have personally dealt with this issue. Tell me a little about why you felt this was necessary to get involved and be a part of this.
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, my own sister committed suicide, and when Amy approached me about coming on board with this, I said definitely, because I definitely want to help, spread awareness about suicide. It's such a taboo thing. Not a lot of people like to talk about it. Every year, suicide claims more lives than murder, war, and natural disasters combined. And yet, the funding for suicide prevention is nowhere near that of the leading causes of death. So I thought, we really need to get out here and spread awareness. And as someone who's lost someone to suicide, I just think it's going to be really neat to come together in the community and meet other people that have lost loved ones to suicide, and we can kind of share our stories and be there for each other and, just spread awareness to the community. And we want to talk about this. It's something that we need to talk about. We need to train our counselors in the community, our pastors, to be able to talk about this, not just when it happens, but beforehand. We need counselors going into schools, preparing kids for this. And in today's society, social media is so huge, and these kids are getting bullied at school, and it's not just when they leave anymore. Now people are saying stuff on social media that they would never say to their face. So these kids, if they're getting bullied, it's just 10 times worse now than it used to be. So those resources in the schools, that's so important. And I'm just glad to be on board and to help with this. And we have a team for my sister, just to honor her and spread the awareness.
And this, obviously, it's a serious issue, but it's a fun activity to help bring awareness. Talk about some of the specific things that are going to be going on at this event so that folks who want to get involved and be a part of this.
It is, like you mentioned, a very much like a Relay for Life type event in the walking capacity. There will also be entertainment, music, appropriate music, of course. We will have a kids area so that if parents bring their kids out, they'll have a safe place monitored by hospital employees that those kids can play, bouncy houses, games, things like that. A lot of music, different, again, appropriate music, but also butterfly release at the end of the walk to honor those people, a symbol of hope, a symbol of life, different memorial type events. We'll have special recognition for the people who we've lost to suicide and try to help those family members move on. Okay, now if anyone out there is interested in taking part in this, first and foremost, when and where will the activity be? And then how can they get involved? The walk is going to be here on the campus at the university. It's going to be at the track over at the soccer field. Okay. The university has very graciously partnered with us to make this happen. We appreciate that support. It's a Sunday afternoon, September the 13th. Registration will begin at 2. The walk will begin at 3 and end at 5.
All right. And if anyone is interested in pre-registering, what can they do to do
You
that?
can go to outofthedarkness.com and locate an event. You'll click a drop-down box, see Alabama. The Troy Walk is actually the first one there. Okay. Or you can give me a call. I'll be glad to share my office phone number. That is 334-670-5530. I work at the hospital and we'll be happy to guide anybody through that registration process. Also, registration is available the day of the event on paper and pen.
All right, well, and that's our show for this week. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy Trojan Vision Weekly. Have a good week.